Earth is home to many creatures. Some may even consider a few of them monsters. But what of those more elusive and hidden creatures? The ones we just can't seem to find. Welcome to Monday Morning Monsters. Cryptozoologist and paranormal researcher Barnaby Jones talks about the unknown, mythical, undiscovered, and unidentified creatures from around the world, and the people who have seen them, look for them, and research them. Hear from witnesses about their encounters, as well as renowned names in the field about their work and research. Barnaby is the founder and lead investigator for Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society based in Wisconsin. C.A.P.S travels across Wisconsin and beyond looking for connections between different phenomena and how they can all be connected. Now, your host of Monday Morning Monsters, Barnaby Jones.
Good morning, monsters. How's everybody out there doing today? It is a chilly morning here in Wisconsin. The snow was on the ground this morning. That was absolutely disgusting. I don't know all those people out here. I don't know why people live in Wisconsin. I mean, there's snow. I don't like snow. The only good side of snow. What's that?
I second that. I can't stand the snow.
Oh, man, I am joined here in the C.A.P.S studio here with one of our brand new investigators from C.A.P.S Academy. He is a tattoo artist, a paranormal medium, psychic. What do you call yourself?
Paranormal investigator.
There you go.
A little bit of everything.
This is our guest for today, RezNeck. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Trying to make the best of this cold day.
Ugh, gross. I haven't been out in it. He had to drive here.
Yeah.
And I get to go to work after this and sit in a semi-warm building with like 50 garage doors that open and close all day. So that's the rest of my day. But before we get to RezNeck, because I just wanted to point out that he was here and that there just isn't somebody broke into my house that I didn't know. All right, guys, we just got back from the Milwaukee Paracon this past weekend, and it was absolutely amazing event. I got to listen to, remember a couple weeks ago we had T on the show, and he was talking about Terry Cullen. And Terry is the man who pretty much put the Minnesota Iceman on the map. And that is this... It was a sideshow attraction of this humanoid creature, ape, something that was encased in a block of ice. And he was one of the first people to bring it to the scientific attention and had nothing but pushback on it until he finally got Ivan T. Sanderson and Bernard Wavelman. I can never say his name right, but got those two guys on the case and finally got it some recognition. And that's when the guy pretty much put a fake in there and was afraid that the government was going to fine him, not because of what he had, but because it was illegal at the time to transport and exhibit remains across state lines. And just an absolutely fascinating story and an amazing presentation by Terry. And Terry has agreed to come on Monday Morning Monsters and share it all with you probably sometime in December or January. I'm scheduled out that far, which brings us up to the next thing today. We have some fabulous guests coming up. Obviously, RezNeck is here today. There you go. RezNeck, I like to bring on my own team members whenever we have like a guest cancel last minute. Unfortunately, this week was supposed to be Joshua Cutchins, and he had to reschedule because he's doing a local book signing that his publisher kind of screwed him into that he had to do. So he had to reschedule. So Joshua will be on the show, but he's going to be on in November. So coming up next week is going to be Kathy Elizabeth, and she is a CHAMP researcher from New York, Vermont, up in Lake Champlain, and she recently just got images of what she believes is the Lake Champlain monster on sonar. So she's going to be on next week talking about all that. And then on Monday, October 31st, we have a huge show. It is going to be a ton of guests. I can't tell you all who's here, There's a lot of invites out there, and there's a lot of them that said that they were going to be on the show. So we are going to have a panel of experts of everything from paranormal, cryptozoology, Dogman, Bigfoot, Mothman, everything, you name it. There's going to be a guest there for that to discuss it with you, even lake monsters and other things. Some people have been on our show already, and some people are brand new. So bring your questions, bring your comments, come and watch that show live. It's going to be great. October 31st, Halloween big show. And then on November 7th, we have Joshua Cutchins coming on. He is a lot of fae lore, fairies, and other things like that. He and one of our past guests, Timothy Renner, co-wrote Where the Footprints End. It's an amazing book series, 2 books there. And then on November 14th, we have Scott Nelson, who is the crypto-linguist that analyzed the Sierra Sounds by Ron Moorhead and has put together what he believes is kind of like a Bigfoot language. And he's finally agreed to a date and everything, and he'll be here November 14th. November 28th, we have Robert Kreider. Absolutely can't wait for that one. He is going to be so cool. He is another Bigfoot and a lot of he's an archaeologist and all kinds of cool stuff. And then December 5th, finally rescheduled, Ronnie LeBlanc is going to be on. So that's our upcoming shows. I lost my mic. That's just from setting a phone down. Super excited for those shows coming up. All right, what do we got next coming up here? For the next 2 weekends, Bean Snappers, Paranormal Tours. If you want to come out and investigate with the C.A.P.S team, Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society, we are going to be doing the Bean Snapper Tours. You can come out and do a live investigation, paranormal. This place has a ton of history. It was originally built in 1877. It has over 4 recorded deaths with the property, and we have had activity on every single investigation that we have done. So that is a great thing. Tickets available, wisconsincaps.com. Click on the Gainers Tavern investigations or the public events page, and you can get all the stuff right there. Also on our Facebook, October 29th, the Saturday before Halloween, we are doing a live Halloween special, and you're going to see some familiar faces there. Along with myself, you're going to see Stephanie Lynn from Chat with Charlie, and Ellie's going to be on as well as our special guest mediums. They're going to come out and give us a hand on this investigation. This is a place that also has a lot of activity. It has not let down any time that we've been there. It is an ongoing investigation for our team. So we hope that you guys can come along and enjoy this. It'll be on our Facebook page, and it's going to be a lot of fun. October 29th at 7 p.m. November 7th. 6th? Oh, now I got to look up. November 6th, we are going to be at the Afterlife Paranormal Conference in
DeKalb, Illinois.
Thank you. He doesn't like the way I say it. It's not DeKalb. I don't know. Just some things, So we're going to be down there in Illinois. It's a really cool event. It's in like a haunted castle. So if you guys get a chance to come down and check that out, that'll be down in Illinois. And then finally, at the end of November, it is going to be the 19th and 20th down in Lexington, Kentucky at CryptidCon. Awesome event. And that brings us up to this. We have on our website, we have a drawing for tickets to CryptidCon. And I promised that today we were going to give those away. So we have all of the qualified entrants here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to fold these up here. Hold this. There you go. You can see they're all going in the little thingy. It's going to take a little while. Sorry.
We should do that ahead of time.
No, I thought of that, but I wanted to show people your name is going into the bucket. Look at that. See, your names are going into the bucket. This way we can't cheat, because I know some of these people. I don't want to make it feel like that. See, I don't want to make it feel like I'm cheating.
I understand.
Okay. And that's why, I'm going to shake this up. Oh, sorry. I'm going to shake Here, I'm just going to take the one I want down here. Shake this up. Close your eyes. All right, pick a name. Joneston Farm. There you go, man. I don't know if you listen to our podcast or not. I will message you on on YouTube. Send me an email at wisconsincaps@gmail.com and we will send you over your tickets. Tickets to CryptidCon. It is an awesome 2-day event down in Lexington, Kentucky, and we are a sponsor of it this year. Cryptids Anomalies and the Paranormal Society is sponsoring this event. So we went last year. It's absolutely amazing event. Tons of people, tons of vendors and speakers and everything. And if you guys can get a chance to come out and check it out, we'll be recording live for our other podcast, Whispers from the Dark there. And yeah, so Joneston Farm, I don't know your real name, but that's your YouTube name. You won 2 free tickets. So I will comment after we're off the air here, and you guys can send me an email and we'll forward the tickets over to you. So, all right, that wraps up the amount of crap that I got at the beginning of the show.
Works for me.
Now it's your turn.
My turn. All right, what do you want to talk about?
So let's start off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Leo, paranormal investigator, tattoo artist. Actually, I prefer ink therapist. Listen to everybody's problems while I'm drilling them. So, let's see here. Caucasianly impaired, if you couldn't tell. Native American. Enrolled Stockbridge-Munsee tribe, Band of Mohicans. What else is there? I've known you for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
We go way back to the old days. Other than that, I'm a pretty basic guy.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I wanted to kind of explain why I chose RezNeck to be on the show today. As you guys know, last week we had Allison Jornlin on discussing Indigenous People Day. And I found out that Joshua had canceled. And I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to bring you on. Yep. Because, we have the two collating right there together. And that's kind of cool. But, yeah, I met you probably 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, I think it was 2013.
And as some of our viewers know, I used to own Misery Haunted House. It was a Halloween attraction here in Wisconsin. And RezNeck showed up as one of our actors. He was brought in by one of my other actors at the time, and your sister.
Yep.
Yeah.
My adopted sister, yeah.
Yeah, she came along as well. So that's how I met you.
We brought a whole crew down at one point in time.
Oh, yeah.
5 actors here and there to help out.
Yep.
It was great, man. You let me be myself out there.
That's a scary thing for anybody that doesn't know him.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and then we started talking probably about a year ago, kind of about paranormal. Well, yep. You started working at my job, day job, and you asked about like getting in there and stuff, and I did a whatever thingy for that, and you came in, and then we started talking about the paranormal, and that we were both kind of doing that, and.
Yeah, I know paranormal's been a part of my life ever since I was a wee guy. Growing up in haunted houses. Parents were ministers of the spiritualist religions, so we dealt with spirits and all that in the spirit realm, basically from the time I was born. So stepping into the world of the paranormal was no big step for me. It was just wanting to, I guess, get confirmation for what I've already experienced, what I feel on a daily basis.
Now you had you grew up like going to the church, right?
Yep.
Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, actually, if it wasn't my parents' church we were at, there was another church in Cicero that was like the head founder's church. We'd go there. And actually, it is a haunted church. At one point in time, it was a funeral home before it was a church. And I remember sitting in the pews, watching them give readings, watching them do sermons. And off, to the left, I'd always see a little bit of a shadow figure there. I never really thought much of it. As a kid, you don't think of shadow figures. You just know the spirit. And you're all good. And years later, I was kind of dating around online, and I found the church again. And here they're doing paranormal investigations there. And I was actually just down there a few weeks ago, not for an investigation. I was actually down there for a church service. And be honest with you, all the years that have passed, it still feels the same. You can feel the energy there when you walk in. It's a good energy, but it just hits you when you walk in that front door. You know there's something there.
For those interesting, one of our first guests, Jack C.A.P.S, actually is one of the people that runs the tours down there of the haunted church. And you can go to Chicago Paranormal on Facebook and message him, and they do tours probably like, I don't know, once a month or every couple of weeks. I don't remember, but yeah, we're supposed to be going down and doing an investigation, but we just, every time they have one, we're somewhere else. So eventually you'll probably see that on one of our episodes. But
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be a good time.
Yeah.
Just ignore this; it keeps going on.
Right. That's why I got my silent.
Yeah, it's on silent. Yeah. Nobody bothers me on my phone unless I'm actually on a podcast, and then it just blows up. But,
yeah, unless you're doing something, no one wants to bother you.
That's right.
Story of life.
If you guys, I want to remind everybody, if you guys have any questions or comments while we're going through this, feel free to post them on whatever your chosen platform is that you're watching us on, and they'll show up on our screen here, and we will address those. So, the indigenous people thing, we got a chance to take you down to, I don't know, my up and down is always confused. Like I'm born in the upside down. Down, I'm in the middle of the state, and I go up to Rhinelander, but it's down. I go down to Rhinelander. Anyway, we took you up to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, as one of our first investigations together. And while we were there, you actually ended up telling me a couple really interesting stories, and one of them was the white buffalo tale.
Yeah, the white buffalo, white raven, probably hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, you want me to talk a little more about that?
I would love if you could share that.
All right. Basically, it's a very cut down version. Sorry, I'm a storyteller, but it's a long story. It's lots of details. But basically, the creator had a white raven, and he would fly down from the heavens, and he'd sing praises of the creator and stuff like that. And after he was flying back and forth so much, he was really lonely. So he begged the creator basically to create him a soulmate, a spirit mate. And the creator did. That was the white buffalo. So the white raven would come down and fly around, and he'd lounge around on the white buffalo's back and, sing praises and kind of teach him where he can go to get good grass and good water, and they'd play around. They're best of chums. Well, one of the times he goes back to heaven and he goes back down, and he's sitting there talking about, he's talking to the white buffalo, and he knows that there's a new creature on the land, the humans. And he feels that their heart's good in this particular human. So, he does this thing. And then one of the times he goes back, he knows there's a new human. Looks just like the other ones, but it doesn't have the same heart. It doesn't have the same beliefs. So he goes up, and the next day he comes down, and he says this new human, is looking at the white buffalo. Now, the creator has given us all these things on this land to take for use, what you need, for warmth, for food, for shelter. But his only thing is take exactly what you need. Don't waste, And so, and the one thing the creator always says, my white animals, my spirit animals, they're off limits, And this new human ends up taking the life of the white buffalo, which destroys the creator. It hurts him, it hurts the raven, and the creator starts crying. And, sending, anger down from the heavens, which, can be interpreted as, lightning and thunder, crying from the clouds, which basically floods the land. And the raven's flying around crying over, he just lost his best friend, his only companion. And as he's flying around, he's getting tired. He's getting weak. And he sees this little patch of mud. And he's like, well, I got to land somewhere. So he sits there and lands, and his beautiful white feathers start, and you can cover it in mud and turn him black. As he's sitting there, he's trying to get up, he can't. And he starts calling out, and he knows there's some other humans in a canoe floating by. So he kind of calls them over. This elder is very smart and wise, and picks him up, dries him off, tells him, it's going to be all right, and just go back up to the creator and go from there. So he's like, all right. So basically dries him off, sends him back up, And the creator goes, well, all ravens from here on out are going to be black to remind you of what you've done. When you do see another white raven, know that the end times are coming. There's going to be, another cleansing of the earth, so to say. And so basically that was the story shortened down of the white raven and the white buffalo. How they were hand in hand. They were spirit animals. And they're here to guide us, to protect us, to help us. And because of someone's ignorance, they got, the white buffalo was wiped out. And now in time, we're going to have to pay for that, And we just kind of keep an eye out. So when we start seeing that white raven again, we know the stuff's going to hit the fan.
Oh, good. Yeah, so I think that like when we were down in Rhinelander, you brought that story up because we were hearing these calls, and I made a comment about how whenever we seem to get close to certain areas or certain like it feels weird here, like there may be Bigfoot activity or something else in the area, you start hearing these calls. And the ravens and the crows and stuff are part of the family. I can't think of what they're called, but they're like the alarms of the woods,
Yep.
like blue jays and the calling birds, I guess.
Yeah.
And anytime that there's anything moving in the woods, and then that's why, is because they were connected to speak between the worlds.
Exactly. They're, like you said, they're the alarm system of the woods. I've noticed for years, every time you go in the woods, there's always something that's going to give you a warning to everyone else. Hey, there's someone here. Very rarely will you be able to walk in the woods without hearing some kind of bird or some kind of animal calling out. They all stick together and communicate on a different level than we do. And it's for basically self-preservation.
Yeah, they let everybody know. Like people say like that, Bigfoot or whatever creature is supposed to be supernatural because they avoid humans so well. Well, I think this is a good point, because when you have these animals that we just got done talking about being communicating with each other, so you think that they're just, dumb animals out in the woods or something, and they're just calling for, mates or whatever, but they're alerting all the other animals of danger, of things moving in there, of just changes in the environment.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very important to consider when you're out there, that these animals, this is why it's so hard to find these cryptids and other creatures that we're out there looking for.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's the warning systems. Even human population has that. You go in some of the quote unquote hoods, in the bigger cities.
Here we go.
You're gonna have someone that's calling out or making noises, letting them know that hey, there's a stranger around. There might be police activity around. If you learn to listen to your environment, there's always some time of warning that's going on, whether it's in the woods or in the cities. It's just nature. Best way I can put it.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I have thought of it that way, but yeah.
Take it right down some of them sketchy neighborhoods.
No thanks.
Roll your windows down. Don't be scared, but no, roll the windows down. You'll hear things.
I think I don't know if I've told this story on here or not, but when we were filming for the Chicago Mothman episodes, myself and Derek spent a couple nights downtown Chicago, and I go into the woods and look for Bigfoot. There's nothing out in Chicago that's scary for me. It's just people being stupid. But yeah, so we're down in Chicago, and all of a sudden you hear this like bang, bang, bang. And Derek looks at me and he goes, "What was that?" And I said, "It's gunshots." and he did not believe me. He's like, no, it was a car backfiring or something. And then like 1 minute later, there's these police sirens and ambulances go whipping by. And so one of the things that we were doing, if you watch the episode, we went around and there's police on like every other corner down there just for security or whatever. They just stand around down there in case something happens. And so we started going around and interviewing these different police officers to see, you know, okay, have you ever heard the stories of Mothman in Chicago? Have you ever seen anything in Chicago, right? So we're going around to these different police officers. So we see this group of police officers across the street, and we're like, oh, they're not doing anything. We can, you know, we didn't want to bother them or anything, you know, like, because they're there to do their job. But these three were standing over there just doing nothing. And we started crossing the streets, and you hear something on their walkie, and she listens and she goes, shots fired, and we're like, we're not going to bother these.
Right.
And that was Derek's. I don't know if Derek had ever been to Chicago before that or not, but it was definitely a first time experience for him.
If you're not from down there and it's your first time down there, it is a big experience. You know, I just took my 17-year-old son on a train ride down there for the first time just a few weeks ago. You know, he's gone down there and got to stay in the burbs, but he's never really gotten to go hang out in the cities. So we jumped the train, went down for a night, and hung out downtown. Actually, I messaged you that night. Mm-hmm. I was watching the skies for the Mothman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have got to do so many cool things for C.A.P.S and that. And another interesting city is I spent a lot of time down in St. Louis. Okay. They used to have the paranormal convention, or not the paranormal, the haunted house convention every year. And I used to go down for that. And I used to like walk around on the streets at night and, you know, playing Pokemon Go and stuff. And there is a fine line of St. Louis where yes, you cross a block and all the houses are like condemned. Like they're missing doors, windows, boarded up. And then on the other side of the street is like happy downtown Chicago. I mean, it is a fine line of like one city block right there. And it blew my mind that right there was this cutoff between, you know, happy touristy St. Louis and yeah. I mean, I don't know for a fact like that, you know, Chicago or Milwaukee's that way because they seem like they're just too sprawled. There's
more of a blend. You notice on the edges, it blends into what it's going to be in the next area where, like you said, it's a line. I remember going down that way as a teenager when I was in high school. I'd go down, bury one of my friends down there, and get up in the morning. I'd go sit on the porch, and you know this house is early 1900s, late 1800s. You know, old house. And I'm looking around. I'm going, I don't know if I should be out here. You know, I'm from Chicagoland area. I'm used to this. I'm looking around like, wow. And I'll walk down the road, get a pack of smokes, you know, and they kind of drive through liquor store. I've never seen that in my life. That's unheard of where I'm from. I'm from a big city, you know.
We had a guy from Tennessee or something. I can't remember right now. Came up and took one of the Bean Snapper tours.
Yep.
And he moved up here. And he said he couldn't believe it because there's literally like streets of bars.
Yeah.
Right. In Wisconsin, we have like you drive downtown and every city, there's probably 5 to 10 bars, taverns.
Yep.
And he
churches
goes,
and bars.
He says, you know, you're lucky down there if there's one bar in the entire town.
Yeah.
And he said it was such just this culture shock of, you know, it's like, well, Wisconsin's like they're like the drunkest state of all of, you know.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like I've been really fortunate, like driving around to all these different states now, you know, doing investigating and actually talking to the people because it's one thing to go to a town and be a tourist. But when you go there and you do these investigations, we spent a lot of time in Kentucky and Tennessee last year, Pennsylvania and West Virginia and stuff. And going down south, it is such a different feeling down there. We did the last episode that came out, the Portal 31 coal mine episode.
Yep. See that? Good one.
Thank you. Across the street is the old coal like sorting facility, right? Yep. And the big coal teapot. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. This is terrible. But here in Wisconsin, if we had a building like that, this old dilapidated, you know, historic site, we'd have chain link fence, barbed wire, do not enter, no trespassing, security cameras and stuff. And down there, they're just like, oh, you want to go in there? Go ahead. It's open. Just, you know, be careful. Good luck. And we're like, that's trespassing. And they're like, no, go ahead. Everybody goes in there. And it's so different. Like there's no fences, no security, nothing. It's like, but in all those towns, if you show up, everybody knows that you're there.
Yep.
Like that you do not belong in those cities.
Oh yeah, they spot them outsiders.
Oh yeah,
from a mile away.
So
small towns, it's like they know each other. They go to church together. They conversate at the cafe every morning together. Where when you come in as an outsider, it's like, boy, who are you? Where are you from? What are you? Mm-hmm. I've done some traveling across the U.S. and walked in even gas stations, and they look at me weird. Long-haired, ponytail. Usually loud shirts, cut-offs in the summer.
I don't think you have one C.A.P.S shirt that you haven't cut the shirt.
I do.
You have one. Yeah, you have one. Yeah.
Actually, no, I have two because one's getting framed because it's got autographs from Ryan LeBlanc and everybody from Michigan. My C.A.P.S, my road tee, the back of it, has got autographs on it.
Interesting.
Yep, so that will eventually get framed with pictures from our time. But then, my black one, the one I love the most, that one's still got sleeves. But I'm a hot guy in the summer. What do you expect? We need to get some C.A.P tank tops. I'd be the biggest buyer of them.
I don't know if we sell C.A.P tank tops online. I think
no, we don't.
We don't.
Not
we
that
have girls. We have girls tank tops.
I don't think it'll work for me. It's just not my style.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the investigations that we have done so far. I mean, RezNeck, like we said, is part of Academy, so he has just recently started with the team, and there's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about because it's not out yet, but there's some pretty cool stuff that we can. So we'll be right back after this message from our station identification.
Certified psychic medium Stephanie Lynn creates an authentic connection between the living and the spirit world. Stephanie knows she is here to help heal, educate, and provide validation that there is more after death, and allows herself to be a conduit and work as a team with spirit to pass on messages from their world to ours. Stephanie Lynn also works as a spiritual life coach to help you achieve, create, and manifest your best self and life. Looking for help communicating with an animal? Searching for a past life regression therapist? Or dealing with a paranormal experience? Stephanie Lynn is here to help. For a list of full services, visit her on Facebook under Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive. That's Stephanie Lynn Spirit Sensitive.
All right, we're back. I want to point out again, Stephanie also is going to be part of our live Halloween special for Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Her as well as Ellie are going to be guests on that show. She's going to be coming out and helping us with a paranormal investigation. I can't tell you a lot about where that is or what it is. And the reason for that is not because we want to hide anything, but anybody that's worked with mediums or psychics in the past knows that the less information that you give them, the better, because they don't want that bias going into the events. And that's the real reason why that we have been so secretive as to where we're going to be for this special event. But she's going to be there, and Ellie's going to be there, and it's going to be a great investigation. We have had a lot of activity at this location in the past. We are continually doing investigations there. So hopefully this you guys can all come out and check that out. It'll be live on the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Society Facebook page. I don't think it'll be on YouTube. It won't be on YouTube, but it'll be on Facebook. So my guest here today is a member of Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. I have spent a lot of time out in the field investigating with this gentleman, and he is brand new to the team this year, but we've known each other going back probably
we say 013, so do the math.
Yeah, at least 7 to 10 years here. So, all right. My guess is RezNeck.
Yep.
You're still doing good?
Still doing good.
It's warmer in here than it is outside. So
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Otherwise, I'd be in my hoodie.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So we went up to Rhinelander.
Yep.
And, we were talking about earlier is that, you have done a lot of paranormal stuff. But prior to joining C.A.P.S, you really haven't done much with the Bigfoot and cryptid side.
No, I believed in them, but unfortunately, like I told you in the past, I always were grading videos and stuff like that, and I was like, it turned me off. My thought was, well, if they're out there, I believe they're out there, but until we start getting better evidence, I wasn't going to pay much mind into it and start looking for them. Coming on board with you, I've gotten the opportunity to go out there and. Honestly, I believe even more now than I did then that they're there. They're watching us. Up in Rhinelander, there's things that you showed me that I go, I've been seeing this for years in my own woods on the reservations. The stuffings and stick structures and stuff like that. And I go, I would never once ever pay two minds to them. And then you come along and go, well, what's that? Oh, yeah, wow,
Yeah, so we got to go up on the ridge,
Yep.
and like where we go in Rhinelander is a public nature area, and that means anybody can go in there, anybody can hike in there. You guys can go in there, but where we went is someplace that I discovered because I had gone up on one of the ridges in there to get a lay and see what was going on. And what I found was this whole area of these stick structures and what I would consider as evidence. Now, from your opinion, you saw all the stuff that I showed
Yep.
you. We walked through that whole area together, and you don't see that down where people go.
No, it's always off the beaten trail. I've noticed. It's off the edges. It's further out in the deep. It's not going to be right where your normal path is. And common sense says it's because they're not trying to interact with us, so they're going to stay away from us. But it's there. You just got to look. Open your eyes up. Be observant when you're out there. And don't be afraid to go off the trail. If you get eaten,
Safely. But my point for that is we're walking through this whole nature area, and there's people there all the time.
Yep.
Where we know these people go, you don't find those signs.
No.
So when we're saying is the point that if the average person is going out there and building these structures, if it's just for whatever reason, why aren't you finding that down on the normal trails? But you're finding it all in one area up on this ridge. I mean, it's a big area. Don't get me wrong. It's the entire top of this ridge, and then out towards the highway area is where this stuff is. So it's
not where humans go.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It's not where you think that, if I'm going to go walking through the woods, that the average Joe would go, oh, look, hey, what's that? No, you have to go out and actually investigate to find it. And my whole theory on that is just they don't want to interact with us. They're trying to keep their space away from ours. If it was some average Joe out there doing it, he'd be doing it by the trails. He'd be doing somewhere that everyone would notice. It's not that, I don't know how else to put it, to be honest with you.
And I think I took you up past the Boy Scout teepee too.
I think so.
It should have been maybe we went down the lower way, but there is for the listeners.
There's
There's
all over.
Yeah, there's a huge man-made teepee structure there, and it was made by a Boy Scout troop, and you can clearly see the difference between this, which is on a trail up on this ridge by itself. And there's definite human activity. There's garbage. You can tell people have been there, and where all this other stuff is, there's not.
Yeah.
I want to back up here because we brought you on for a reason, or I brought you on for a reason, and I'm interested into. I know you, like you said, you don't know too much about this stuff, But I kind of want to run down like a list of cryptids here. And anything that you got from, the native lore and legend side of this, if you could just kind of speak on any of that.
Different things I've heard about over the years. I was born in the cities, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Transplanted up to the res years ago when my kids were little. And I always heard different stories, like Goat Man.
Very interesting.
You hear the hoofs on the road coming down at night. The little people, which more of these as we're going further with the team, I'm gonna start digging into more, talking to other people. Obviously, Bigfoot, he's in our legends from years ago. See, what else have I heard about? Other spirits. There's different ones that supposedly roam different areas and different roads that some say are negative, some say are just lost. What else was there to really touch on here?
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to ask you about individual ones, but you kind of launched off there. But the Goat Man, that is definitely one that we have not touched on at all for C.A.P.S or anything. So I'm actually really curious as to that. Like, what have you heard about that? Like, can you talk a little bit more about that?
What I've heard is basically be scared of him. You hear him coming, head the other way, run. Supposedly is negative. Don't really know too much. I've heard a couple people tell me that, walking down the road, they hear the hoofs and they'd cross the road. And then some of them would freeze. I had another friend of mine tell me he ducked down in the ditch and he couldn't see anything, but it sounded like hoofs walking down the pavement.
Bipedal.
Yep. Bipedal.
2 hoofs, yeah.
Yep. His bottom is a goat, top is a man. Trying to think, it's pretty much the extent of what I've heard on that. Other than the fact that, like I said, negative being.
Well, you have a lot of mythology of the Goat Man. I mean, obviously you have the negative imagery of like the devil or the demon type things. But the other one that comes to mind is like the satyrs, which are half goat bottom and person on top. Pan is supposed to be, like the Gaelic or the traditional guardian of the forest as well, and that is also supposed to be a satyr type goat man being.
Yep.
So you have, like when we talk about these different cryptids and stuff, like Bigfoot, you have them all over the world. Goat Man is all over the world. The Poplick monster is, the Goat Man. I can't think of what state that's from, but is that what? Like I said, we haven't really done much with the Goat Man legends and stuff, but
maybe in the future you'll get.
We got to go look for Goat Man.
I'm willing to go look for anybody
cool.
and anything.
That's cool.
I really am. Anything that is in the realm of unnormal, the supernatural, the stuff that basically gives kids nightmares at night. Sign me up. I'm there. Let's go check this out.
So, in other words, you want to give children nightmares. Well, you worked at my haunt, so
exactly.
So, when you're hearing these legends of the Goat Man and stuff, are they from Wisconsin or?
Yeah, that from my own res.
Wow. Okay.
These are people that live on my res. Some have grown up there. Have never lived anywhere else. Who are telling me these stories. So
that's interesting. I know, like, we've gotten some stories and stuff of goatmen in Wisconsin, but like I said, we haven't delved too much into it. I don't know. I guess I kind of feel like it's one of those things that it's just so obscure that like even I don't know that much about it. I mean, now I'm going to go listen to podcasts about Goatman.
There you go.
I hear a lot of stories like Goatman guarding bridges, though.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like some of the stories that I've heard, and like I said, I can't talk too much about this because like I haven't delved too much into it, but I want to say like some of the stuff is like bridge guardians, like a troll under a bridge kind of thing. Like answer my riddles to pass kind of, or Poplick, isn't that the one with the train trestle? I think that's the one with the train trestle where the girl was out there looking for him and just got killed by a train. And again, I'm failing you guys. I'm sorry. I can't think of what state that's in, but Somebody in the comments, tell me. I'd be happy to know. But I could Google it. That's too much work.
Right? I Google everything.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. So why don't you, while I'm doing this, lake monsters, sea monsters and stuff. What is your take on those as far like from a native perspective? Have you heard any stories on that?
Not really, nothing out of the lakes. But my own theory is that we know more about our stars than we do our own oceans and lakes, and it's time to start digging in a little deeper and working on that equipment to get us there. So we can explore down there more. So I think there's a lot down there that we don't know of that really could be considered monsters in today's images.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like I just gave 2 presentations last week and this week, both on what is cryptozoology.
Right.
And they're very broad topics and stuff talking about this stuff. But one of the things I talk about is all these creatures that we think of as mythological or, weird and stuff. You have the platypus. The platypus is such a weird creature. I mean, it's biofluorescent, we just found out. So it actually glows under black light. It has its own light. Yeah, you didn't? All right, cool. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
It is venomous. It has a venom stinger in its hind leg. The males do.
Okay.
And, it lays eggs. These are such weird.
It's a mammal, ain't it?
It is a mammal. Yep, it is a mammal. But they're such weird creatures, and we know they exist. So what else is out there? Have another thing I talk about is chameleons and like octopus and stuff like that can change colors. Well, if the platypus can do all this weird stuff and it's a mammal, who's to say that, Bigfoot, if it's a mammal, it can't change colors?
Right.
Just because we haven't found a mammal that can do it doesn't mean that it can't.
Exactly.
So when we're talking about supernatural and paranormal and stuff, paranormal is just abnormal. It's something that is, there are people that would be considered paranormal. There's a man in Ripley's Believe It or Not that can echolocate like a bat because he's blind. And he's taught himself to click and, click his tongue, and be able to locate and tell everything that's around him. So if a human can do that, that's paranormal.
Right. Well, what was it? I believe it was Ray Charles wore hard-soled shoes. So when he was walking, because of the echoes, you could tell when he passes a room, the size of the room and all that, he was able to teach himself to hear that.
That's awesome.
And that's, again, kind of like with this echolocating guy, it's human adapting. Adapting to its environments, adapting to what he has to work with, or they have to work with, be politically correct.
All right, I'm going to come back to this. The Poplik monster is from Kentucky. Of course it's from Kentucky. Everything terrible, horrible, weird, bizarre is from Kentucky. That does not surprise me at all. So Poplik monster, Kentucky. He's from Poplik Creek in the Fishville neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. Poplik monster.
Down by Louisville, huh?
Yeah. So, and for those of you curious, we will be in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, the end of November for CryptidCon. Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds fun.
So, we got a chance to take you up to Hayden as well.
Yes.
So the Hayden Adventure, as you guys hopefully all know if you follow us, Cryptids, Anomalies, in the Paranormal Society, the Hayden Adventure is this private property up in Upper Michigan. They used to do tours, but don't do them anymore. And we have access to these 80 acres up there, and we have had a lot of activity. It's an ongoing research area for us. And we brought you up earlier this year.
Yep.
And you did a very interesting experiment. And I know this is not out yet and stuff, but it's not going to be out for 2 years. So you're going to forget about this because this is season 3. We haven't even got season 2 out yet. So season 3, tell us a little bit about what you tried.
We tried playing some Native American drum music. I did a prayer song and basically a welcoming song, trying to draw it in. Since my theory on that was since the big furry guy, Bigfoot, has been part of our culture and our lore, that what if we took a native style look at it? All right. And I hadn't seen any of the shows do this. So I was like, okay, we go out there, we play some drum music, see if we hear anything, get any responses, stuff like that. To let them know that, there is someone here that's friendly, that is of native descent, that is here wanting to communicate with them, experience them. I actually have yet to listen to my EVPs, my recordings from that time, because we did record everything. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to yours, but I think with being native and with him being in our culture, that possibly communication or a sighting of him someday might get lucky enough to fall on me.
It was a really interesting experiment, because we had tried in the very first episode that we did from Haydn, Fathom brought out a hand drum, not a hand drum. It's a metal thing, and you tap the different. I think it's a hand drum. It's not a drum, but it's
kind of like the Jamaican style.
Yeah, metal
drums.
Yeah, but it's a hand. I'm sorry, you're probably listening. I don't know what it is, but
send in the comments.
Yeah, I'm not Googling that because I don't know what I'm Googling. But we tried that up there, and we had a lot of interesting activity that night. And like I said, I can't talk about what we got this night, but that was a pretty interesting experiment. And I do have. I'll tell you this because I don't think it'll be part of the episode, but we left an audio recorder running overnight. We always do that when we're up at Haydn because we spent the night up there. And you can hear like you getting up and stuff and smoking or whatever, and then closing the door and stuff. But at one point, everything like goes quiet. We all obviously are asleep. And then there's what I describe. I mean, it's clear as day. I'll have to play it for you later. But it's a woman's sigh. And it just goes, and it's outside the van. Like we all slept in our own vehicles. Like he was parked in front of me, and you slept inside the truck the whole night. I slept inside the van. Ma's in her car behind the van, so she's way back there. And the audio recorder would have been in between our two vehicles. Kind of, it's on the front of the van. But it was just this really interesting sound that. I mean, like I could hear you get up and do stuff in and out, slamming doors, but then you're done. Yeah, I know you're in the truck.
Once I'm done for the night, I'm in. I ain't getting up unless I actually have to.
Yeah, and then there's just this woman's sigh. Obviously, it's not you. Right. You have a very, the hoarse kind of voice from smoking or whatever, and that's definitely not what I hear. It's not me because I didn't leave the van. And it ain't Ma. Yeah. It ain't Ma. But yeah, it's a very interesting audio clip that we captured that night, and I don't know what it is. I don't want to say I don't think it's Bigfoot. I mean, it could be, but it's nothing like anything we've captured up there before for audio and stuff like that. So
I'll be interested to hear that.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to play that for you. But I'd play it for you guys now. But the problem is my audio doesn't come through for whatever reason when I play it on the computer. So we've talked about that, and I got to figure out how to do that. So, but then we can play audio and EVP and stuff once I figure out why it's not transferring through, because I have a little podcasting device here that it plays through.
You're the most technology guy I know. You're supposed to know all this stuff.
Yeah, well, I found the audio. What more do you want? You want to listen to it? I can't do that. All right. What else have we've gone on a paranormal investigation? Yep. 2 of them. We can't talk about either one of those.
Nope. It's coming. Okay,
this is the problem with doing like recorded stuff, and we have a big announcement coming up that again I can't talk about, but it's big for us.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, exciting new thing coming from us, and what else have we done? Well, we went back to Rhinelander after that paranormal thing.
We went there for a night hike.
That was really cool. We did not have any Bigfoot activity. No. Nothing weird. Saw 2 salamanders though.
Yeah.
And that was cool because I've never seen a salamander in the wild. I know Ethan was super pumped about that as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, nothing weird in the woods that night. Which is
I was kind of hoping for something weird that night that I was actually looking for. That's why, watching the treetops, watching to see if there's any movement out in the darkness. And unfortunately, I was let down that night.
Which brings more credence to the fact when you do get evidence. The nice thing, I say this all the time, is these people that go out and, I'm going to use paranormal for an example here, but the people that go to this haunted location and then that haunted location and then this haunted location, are you really learning anything? Or are you just going out there to, say you've been there and say you've investigated it? And the reason why I say that is because, as a researcher, as somebody that's interested in getting to the bottom of this stuff, what are you doing by doing that?
They're going for the experience. That's what my take of it is. They're going for the experience, hoping they get a little scare, get some evidence, and say, hey, look, I was here, I found this, I heard this. I like the way we do things. We go back over and over again. Granted, there's other places, I'd like to go just to go check out, to see if I get the same feelings that Joe Schmo had or the same evidence. But I wonder with some of these people that keep going, bouncing from location to location to location, are they getting something from the location or something following them?
That's a good point, too. I do know, I won't point anything out, but I do know of an investigator who does a lot of different locations. He's not part of our team. He's not part of our team. But they go around to all these different locations and they get the same person on Estes or on EVPs or Spirit Box that comes through and talks to them at each location. And it really made me start thinking like, well, maybe you're not getting the activity at the location. Maybe the activity is just following you.
Yeah. No.
And we started doing that on our Bean Snapper tours. Is I start telling people, when you're here doing this tour, we have all this equipment set up, and it's all here for the access of anything that wants to communicate with you. It could be one of your loved ones. It could have been one of my loved ones. It could have been, something that attached to the building. So just because you're getting activity doesn't mean that it's actually attached to the location that you're at.
Exactly.
And I think that's important to point out, too. I know this is cryptozoology, but I'm getting back to this. My point back to the Rhinelander woods is that when we go there so many times, we know those woods. Like, every sound in there. You know what to expect from different areas. You know where you hear running water, where you don't. And by doing that, you can pinpoint when something is different.
Yep.
And that makes it even more important to say, this doesn't belong.
Oh, yeah. I agree totally. Even in my own woods up on the res, walk through in the middle of the night, walk through the day, you get to know the sounds, the feelings, everything out there. So like you said, when something's different, you pick up on that right away. And a lot of times you can actually lead yourself to that area without even really putting much thought into it because, well, the lake's over here or the river's over here. That came from that way, so that's where I'm going to go look. You can pinpoint it. You're not, even though it sounds like it's coming from all around, it's got a start point. And when you know your area, you know what you're investigating, you can find that start point very easily.
And that goes for anywhere that you go. We recently had Stephanie come out to do one of the tours that we offer at Bean Snappers. And from outside the building, she pointed up at the building and she goes, what's behind that wall? I want to go there. And I knew what was behind there, but obviously she didn't. She hadn't, experienced anything there. And she pointed out the ticket booth. And when she finally got up to the ticket booth, she found a spirit in there. And he said, hey, I'm always here, but I don't leave the room because I know where I belong.
Yeah.
And he was upset because we never come and talk to him on the tours. And now we have started talking to him and communicating more with him and stuff. But he was upset with us because we always do these tours. We go to the same locations of the building and stuff. And we've never gone in the ticket booth to talk to the poor guy. And he's like, this is my job. This is where I stay. And she zoned right in on him from outside, without even knowing what was behind the wall. So props to Stephanie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next time I come out to Snappers. I really am. Had some personal experiences there. I know we can't talk about it yet. But
you can talk about Snappers.
Well, I believe I picked up an attachment from there. You know, someone had picked up on something. I was smelling a lot of wood smoke. And later on, someone had mentioned it that, you know, you have someone with you. It's not one of yours.
That's right. Yep.
And it lasted for a few more weeks after that. And finally I said, hey, you got to go home. It's time to go. It's cool kicking back. You want to come check on me again later? But you got to go. And then all of a sudden I quit smelling the wood smoke. I ended up stopped seeing a little shadow from the corner of my eye at night in my house. So, you know, between that and the time that I was sitting at the bar there and had the experience, I'm looking forward to another chance to come back and really dive in, because I know when we were there, you guys are kind of guiding us to different areas. Naturally, I want to go roam. I'm drawn to this area or that area. So when I had a chance to kind of dip off to the side, I did. And that's when I got responses, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. I got some people, friends of mine, that don't necessarily believe in the paranormal, that I said, hey, well, if you don't believe, you want a chance to go experience this, I can make that happen. And we're trying to get everybody's schedules together. And like I had talked to you in the past, we're going to be coming out.
Cool. For you, anybody that wants to come out and investigate the Bean Snappers Paranormal Investigation, you can get tickets. We run the next 2 Sundays through Halloween here, and you can get your tickets at Wisconsin C.A.P.S. at click on the Gainers Tavern button and get tickets to come out and investigate Bean Snappers with the C.A.P.S. team. So it's an awesome place, a lot of experiences. It is a haunted strip club, so it's a lot of fun. All right, sorry, I had to get my promo in there.
Got to. Pump it.
All right, speaking of promos and pumping it, and that's bad intro. You do tattoos.
I do.
Do you do that for the public? You have your own YouTube and stuff as well?
I was looking at setting up something for YouTube. I don't have anything yet.
I know you have something.
I have Facebook.
Facebook, yep.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? You do tattoos and stuff? And
RezNeck Ink, right on Facebook. It's RezNeck. Between multiple jobs and everything else, I'm usually pretty booked up, schedules running way ahead of time. Still trying to balance everything out between work, doing ink therapy, and of course paranormal research. You know,
I think everybody on our team stays pretty busy.
It's wearing me out.
Yeah, no, man, I'm serious. Like, it is. Like, especially this time of year with so much paranormal and conventions and stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks. I actually have time to sit down and do like video editing and stuff like that. And there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. Our next episode drops at the end of this month for our road trip series, and that'll be really cool. That will be Bigfoot in Kentucky. And we have a huge guest star on this episode. I can't wait for you guys to see it. We actually got to go down to Kentucky and Tennessee area and stuff and investigate with Turtle Man from Animal Planet. And he is an amazing tracker, a really nice guy. He loves his fans. It's not a show. He would do anything for his fans. Super nice guy. We should get him on the show.
Try it.
Yeah,
sure,
man.
That'd be a good thing.
All right. Well, and I am going to be down in East Tennessee in April at the East Tennessee Paranormal. I don't have it on my scheduled board yet, but we're going to be down there with Jeremy Leonard. He's going to be there.
Good friend of mine. I was just speaking to him the other night.
Yep. And Turtle Man and myself and the Wraith Chasers. And I've never watched their show.
I like them.
Yeah. They seem really cool, but
they seem real down to earth. They're not the typical one come in, cause a ruckus, and then leave.
Yeah.
They come in, they do their investigation, they try their experiments. You know, they're trying to push things forward.
Nice. That's always good. Always good. I will give Jeremy Leonard a plug. He has a brand new show coming out on Netflix here. It is 28 days haunted.
It starts, I believe, October 21st.
That's why I was getting 21 and 28 mixed up. Yep, 28 days haunted.
Forward to that.
Yeah, I know my mom has cleared her viewing schedule so that she can check it out as well, and I'll have to watch it. Otherwise,
he's on it, and Shane Pittman.
Yes, he is. Yep, Shane Pittman as well. Yeah, so definitely go check that out. We haven't had either of those guys on here because this is cryptozoology. But Jeremy Leonard has been on Whispers from the Dark, and awesome guy, super nice.
I was there.
Yeah, you were on that episode, yeah. So, all right, cool. We got a lot of cool stuff. I mean, definitely go check out WisconsinCaps.com for all of our cryptids, anomalies, and paranormal society stuff, and RezNeck Ink on Facebook for if you want to get a tattoo from this man right here. Anything else we got?
No. I can think off the top of my head. We can talk about anything as long as you want. I have no plans till 5:30.
What is your native take on the Dogman?
I don't have a native take on it, honestly. I have found myself watching a lot more Dogman stuff lately over the past few weeks for some reason. I've noticed that it's not. See, I always knew it was more down by us here, but I'm learning more about the more that's going on up in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually looking forward to doing some more investigations with that. I think there's some of the stuff we do in the paranormal, as for research, we should cross over into the Dogman research.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if we get any different new evidence. Because there's things that we do that produce evidence in one area, good possibility might work in the other.
We've done that with Bigfoot. We've done an Estes session and a REM pods and stuff. We've taken up to Hayden and done a paranormal Bigfoot investigation. You'll see that on season 2, I think. But
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's a cool. That one has some cool results to it as well. We did that over by the teepee.
Okay.
And that definitely got a response. I'll just say that. And
I can say up there in Hayden, there's some few spots up there that's got some crazy energy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember us walking around there and like, man, Barnaby, something here. And you tell me, well, this was such and such. This was that. And I'm like, oh, picking up on it.
Mm-hmm. One thing we didn't talk about that you got a chance to do, I appreciate your help as well for this because we were up filming for the UFO days, for the UFO episode, and I was down in the northern Kettle Moraine filming for UFO days as well for Benson's hideaway and stuff. We went down there, and when we went down there that weekend, I found out about an event that I couldn't go to, so I sent you.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about where you went.
It was down Kettle Moraine area. DNR was doing a Bigfoot, basically a walk. They take you out there. They talk about the different animals and creatures in the area. To me, they kind of use Bigfoot as the draw. To draw everyone in to kind of promote the area, to promote their walks. I personally think we should go looking at going down there. Heard rumors of some people putting out bait piles for him down there. And there's other investigators that have been in the area looking around. I didn't really feel or see much down there. Didn't learn anything really new. I thought it was a cool event, though, because it got the kids out. That's the awesome thing. You're getting kids out. You're inspiring them. Who knows? Maybe some of the children that are there could end up growing up being like you, being cryptozoologists, just from that one event that the DNR hosted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was super interested in this, and that's why I sent him down there to investigate and record it and stuff for me, because here is an event put on by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Like, this isn't the BFRO. I mean, they were there. They were there.
I got to meet them afterwards.
But this isn't a C.A.P.S event. This isn't a Bigfoot Society event. This isn't anything to do with Bigfoot people.
Oh,
this was DNR.
Yes.
That put this out there, and I didn't watch the whole thing. that you recorded. I'm so busy, obviously, and but I did watch the beginning where she's talking about it, and she brings up some sightings in the area, and 2 of them I already knew about. They're older. There's the evidence from what's Holy Hill down there. This guy is driving his truck down the highway, and he's picking up deer carcasses. He works for the highway department or whatever, and he's picking up these deer carcasses, and he picks up one off the road by Holy Hill, and something large, hairy, comes and grabs it out of the back of his truck while he's in the truck filling out paperwork.
Now, see, I know she talked about that with Bigfoot, but I've seen on another special, doing some research, Dogman was the one that's supposed to be with
Correct.
that one.
Yep.
So you got conflicting cryptids there.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I would probably say that's more Dogman. But, and here's what I'll tell you, and then obviously everyone listening because we're live.
Right. Yep.
But when we went down to the Northern Kettle Unit, we did see some evidence of Bigfoot in there on the hike that we went on. And it got dark, and we had some weird dog calls. I can't say what they were, but they were far off in the distance and stuff. I don't know if they actually recorded or not, but that's what we got. No whoops, no howls, no Bigfoot calls.
Right.
But we did hear some dog audio, and I mean the coyotes and stuff in there. There shouldn't be any domestic dogs.
I think I remember hearing coyotes out there,
and those have more of a high pitch.
Yep.
You know, the yip yip and the howl and stuff like is the higher pitched coyote calls. That's not what we heard. Yeah. So I'm by no means a huge outdoors guy. You know, I always said, you know, growing up and stuff, if you want me to go camping, I'm going to go look for Bigfoot. And that's what I've always said. And now here I am. The only reason I'm out in the woods camping or doing any of this stuff is because of Bigfoot. So, so I'm learning as much as I go along, but I'm learning so much that, you know, being exposed to this stuff. But yeah, like I'm starting to understand what a coyote sounds like. You know, foxes obviously are really weird, but those all have a lower or a higher pitch tone to their calls.
Right.
That's not what we got. I can't say what.
Just something deep.
Yeah, I can't say what dog it was. It could have been a coyote for all I know, but didn't sound coyote. And I know that they're supposed to be like wolves in the southern unit.
Yeah.
So
wolves are coming back all over our state. So it possibly could have been a wolf, maybe.
I just interviewed a lady for Whispers from the Dark episode, and she had she had a experience in the southern unit or northern unit where we were, and she woke up. I want to say she said it was like 1 a.m. to the sound of whoops, and that would have been, I think she said, about a year or two ago, so fairly recent. I just got a report I shared with our team about 30 minutes north of the Hayden Adventure.
Yeah.
And there was whoops up there too this past weekend. So we got to get up there. But now there's like 1 to 8 inches of snow up in upper Michigan right now. Yeah. It's just like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready.
Neither am I. The body ain't ready. The mind ain't ready. No.
That ain't going to stop us though. We're going to get out there because the best thing about snow, the only good thing about snow is it leaves prints.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you can actually, you know, like so much of the woods and stuff that you go in just does not lend itself well to evidence for footprints and stuff like that. And when you have this nice thick layer of impressionable stuff on the ground, it makes it really nice. And if you can get out there regularly, you can get some cool footprint evidence in that before it kind of melts out and ruins it. But yeah.
How well does it take to get a cast out of the snow? That's what I'd be wondering.
So there's different methods that you cast in the snow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. That's a good point. So I haven't personally tried it yet. I should do that this winter for sure, is cast like a boot print or something, or my own footprint, just to practice. But supposedly they have those cans that are called Great Stuff.
Okay, spray foam.
Yep. So it's this expanding spray foam for filling gaps and cracks in your walls and your basements and stuff. And supposedly, I haven't tried it, but you can use that in the snow and it'll expand out and fill it. Whereas plaster of Paris or other stuff will not necessarily sink, but will not harden because it's too cold. It needs certain temperature and certain conditions to harden. Whereas great stuff will harden. I mean, I used that for years at the haunted house. Yeah. We actually did an entire blacklight cave at my haunted house, and I got the big canisters of 2-part great stuff foam and literally sprayed the cave. And within, by the time the cave was 20 feet long, I think. And by the time I finished the cave, the front of the cave was already hard. So it was really cool stuff. But supposedly that works well for casting snow impressions. So
I'm going to test that.
All right. I will too.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah. So I don't know how it works, if it's really good, but I mean, this information comes from Cliff Barrickman and Finding Bigfoot. So I would hope that he knows. I mean, he's one of the foremost authorities on footprints and casts.
Right.
So yeah, did you see my new casts?
I did. I was kind of eyeballing them over here.
I did not cast these. These are famous casts. I got them from I'll hold up the other one there. So yeah, these are a famous set of casts. I can't remember off the top of my head who cast them. Yeah, they're autographed by Jeff Meldrum, because that's who I got them from. But this one, if you can hold this one up here, these are what are the Cripplefoot casts. And these are very famous casts because this is the left foot, and this is the right foot. And you can see this one's all deformed over here. And there's actually a whole trackway of these casts, or these prints. And they were able to realize that, you know, if somebody was hoaxing these, why they would go through the work of making this. And I know you can't see this, but if you could see these in person, they actually have, you can kind of see it there, the skeletal ridges and stuff on there of where, I can't remember who cast these. I feel bad now. But where they thought that the bones actually lined up on them. So these are my new casts. One day we're going to have a Q&A and a show and tell on the episode, and you'll get to see all the random stuff back behind me over here and hear the stories about it and everything and all the cool stuff that we got laying around here. But since we were talking about casts, I saw that they were laying there. But
I'd be interested in coming back for that episode.
You can be my Vanna White in the back here. Yeah, there you go. So lovely. All right, guys, that is our show for today. We're about out of time here. I want to thank my guest, RezNeck, for driving all the way here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, most people just, call in, and you just drove, what, half hour, 45 minutes?
Roughly.
Yeah. Everyone else lives right
scene.
around here. Yeah. They're right here to be in the studio. To be honest, he just wanted to poke around with all the stuff back here himself. All right. RezNeck Ink on Facebook.
Yep.
You want to get a hold of RezNeck here. Otherwise, C.A.P.S, Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. You can get everything. And congrats to our winner for the CryptidCon tickets. Make sure you send me an email. I will get out hold of you if you don't hear this, obviously. But send me an email and we'll get those tickets out for you. Thanks for playing. And if you guys haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we got some cool stuff coming out on there pretty soon. Another episode's going to drop the end of this month, so make sure you check that out. Until then, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.